All right, hey everyone. Welcome to another Suave stream. So today we're gonna keep working on the OAuth stuff we were doing for the Suave Keys project. Basically, we left off with implementing OAuth authorization code grant flow and doing it all from scratch with our own user service and everything, all .NET, all that good stuff. And today we're gonna work on actually building like a UI around it so people can actually sign in, and then starting to implement what's called account linking for Alexa and Google Assistant. That way, when we use the voice app for either of those platforms, and we'll add more later, we can actually authenticate our users and understand who they are, what preferences they have, and then what devices to actually send the commands down to. Also today, I figure I'll play a little bit of guitar as we go. It's been helping me sort of noodle through things as I'm thinking. And I have all of my dogs. Normally I should say, my wife is the one watching the dogs while I'm streaming, but she's away, so I have 3 dogs at my feet right now. They're all asleep, so I don't want to disturb them, but I'm sure they'll all make an appearance. Beyond that, I also had my new subscriber emotes approved, which are also the dogs. So for example, if you are a tier 1 subscriber, you can now use your Suave Benny emote, which it looks like that, and then there's also our tier 2 party rider, and then upside down as well for the other ones. So some pretty funny emotes, pictures of my dogs. I took some time to cut them out of some of my favorite photos of them. So subscribers can now throw some bennies in the chat, which will be a lot of fun. So some other stuff outside of that, you can see, working on getting a new gift bot set up. Fierce Kittens invited me to a beta for, I just invited everyone, but I got signed up for the beta for a new gift bot. And so we'll be able to do some more interactive stuff where you guys can, throw some GIFs on screen and all that. I just got to take some time to get it wired up. I just got it added. I've got a new bot account set up on here, so you might see Suave First Mate running around and doing things automatically, and we'll continue to use that account for other bots as well. But yeah, now we've got I was trying to get it set up, couldn't get it set up in time before I wanted to go live, so here we are. But anyway, so like I said, we're working on getting basically the rest of all of the authentication stuff set up. So just to recap, like we always do, our Suave Keys project basically looks like this at a high level. We have everything running through an API. We've got a Postgres database that keeps track of users and like token stuff and preferences and all that good stuff. We have our app running on Voicify, which is basically the gateway for all of these voice channels or conversational channels. And currently we already have it spun up. It's plenty of pennies in the chat. The more the merrier. Currently we already have it deployed to Alexa and Google Assistant, I think, if I remember right. But the idea is that I'll be able to issue commands like, say, type whatever or press whatever, like for keys on an actual keyboard. That'll route through all the NLU, then through Voicify, then to our API, where then we'll be able to send requests down over WebSockets to actual devices. So we've done this before for Dark Souls and Call of Duty as a means to sort of prove out the concept where I say, jump, and that's the same as spacebar. Therefore, from the API, we process that from the native assistant through Voicify. We go, hey, this is jump. We check their preferences and know that, oh, you've got a spacebar set up for jump for this current profile you're using. Then we send a WebSocket request down to the desktop client that's on and listening on like an actual computer or anywhere else really, which then receives the command. And then for situations where we actually need a USB keyboard, which for the most part will be only desktop clients, we send a serial request to a controller, a little microcontroller in Arduino Leonardo, which then sends actual USB keyboard commands back. But we'll be able to build other like clients as well, like mobile clients and stuff that can actually do typing. Not sure if it'll be able to do it in the background, but we're mostly going to focus on this flow for the desktop loop to start, because the whole idea of this is to be able to give people an ability to type and play games more easily or use any software really more easily using their voice with existing virtual assistants and then some custom ones that we'll add. So that they can basically get more out of what they can use with their hands, right? So especially people with certain disabilities that make it a little bit harder to use their hands or have fine motor control. Hopefully giving them a third means to control something will help as well. eventually looking at integrating with the Xbox Adaptive Controller and some other tech that people have built hardware-wise to enable people to play games with their own custom controllers in the way that they prefer. And like I said, this should just be sort of additive to that. So just to sort of look at what we have right now, right? So we built everything out on Wednesday stream, I think, is when we finished all that stuff, where we were looking through all the boring OAuth spec documentation and stuff in order to build our API. So now at this point, we have a local Postgres running. We've got the API, which I'm spinning up now, and for some reason it just keeps taking me to Edge, even though I have my default set to Chrome. And then basically we have the sign-in controller that if we get it, we pass in like a grant type, client ID, redirect URL, a code challenge. We're supporting the Pixie spec or the PCKSE spec as well, which lets us basically validate the client it's coming from. I don't think that's going to be used on the Alexa or Google side from what we were reading in the docs on Wednesday. But basically we get the redirect, we actually then sign in, and we tested all of that stuff all the way out with then actually signing in with username and password and all that, and then actually basically trading that authorization code for an access token. So we did that just using the API. So basically where we left off is in the sign-in controller, instead of returning the actual view, we just like return an OK if it's valid, or like normally we want that to actually show the page. For granting the code, we're returning OK with the URL that we would redirect to instead of actually redirecting to it. So now, the next thing is to actually get all of this set up together so we can actually sign in. Because in order to do it from like Amazon or Google, we need an actual UI. We need it published to an actual URL that we can hit. We can't run it on localhost and stuff. We already have all of that set up. We have this Suave Keys dev environment, and we also have, I think, a prod one, just Suave Keys. I should save this. Where, sorry, I'm saving my connection string here because I went and deployed an actual PostgreSDB for dev for our staging environment, and then I'm now adding a connection string here so that I don't have to keep it in source. But so we have this Suave Keys dev Azure website or Azure App Service. So if we go to Suave Keys dev.azurewebsites.net, we go over to specifically /swagger, then did we not set up the actual Swagger stuff? We probably didn't. This is what's running from our Alexa side as well. So like if we go and look at the Voicify setup where we've got all our commands and everything, and we deployed it to Alexa once this is done loading my stuff, right? So we've got our Suave Keys skill, we've got our Suave Keys dialog flow agent, which is then a Google action. But right now, all it's doing is hitting in this Voicify controller. We have 2 custom webhooks set up on the Voicify side, right? So Alexa and Google talk to Voicify, and then on Voicify, if we go to like these commands, right, we've got type and press key. We have webhooks attached to these conversation items. Wait for it to load here. Give me my integrations, right? So we've got this Suave Keys press key intent webhook attached. If we go look at what that is at the top level here, where we've got type and we've got like press key, it's sending a request to Suave Keys Azure Websites.net API Voicify press key intent. So that's getting to here, and right now all we're doing is just like returning a basic response. But what we will be doing here is actually like pulling their access token after they've authenticated. So we'll have new stuff in here to actually handle all the auth stuff from like the welcome message, because you can't really do anything with Suave Keys voice app unless you're authenticated. So we'll get this wired up. We'll have a new endpoint to tell Voicify how to do the sign in and to kick off that process. And then we'll be able to actually start sending requests down over WebSockets from basically these controllers. So like once we have this, we can take like the Voicify request, which then has the Alexa request response on it, which has like the access token. We need to do some like manual serialization of that. So like right now, like if we have an access token and we just send it up in like a post request to an endpoint, like if we look at this authentication controller, like we have it routing through just this authorized attribute. So what that's doing for us is all managed here in the startup using ASP.NET's built-in like authentication options. So we have our bearer scheme and stuff But what we need is like, we don't get the bearer token in the authorization header. So we can't just like throw an authorized tag and then like pull it out. We have to do like everything that this does for actually deserializing the token. Because what happens, right, you get this massive token, and inside it, it's serialized with values that we provide it called claims. So like if we look at our, somewhere in our auth service here, services, user authentication service, like down here, like this is where we generate that actual token. We create claims, so we have this array of claims, and each one, it's basically like a dictionary of stringed values. So like name identifier, that's going to be like the user ID, and that's really the biggest thing we need. But also like email and the expiration time, and then we actually provide the values, right? So we get the expiration hours, we get the person's email, and we get the ID, and we put that in the token, and then we serialize everything. So basically, like what we need to do on these like Voicify endpoints is take the token out from the original request, but then basically do the reverse of this, where instead of like encrypting and encoding it, we need to actually decrypt it with the same key that it's encrypted with, which I haven't done before. I've never had to manually do it. Like normally we just like provide the rules, like, hey, here's the token and here's the signing credentials, right? Like this is our signing key, and that same thing is used in that startup down here, right? Like issuer signing key, and it just like handles the deserialization that way. So we'll have to do some of that manually, which is not a big deal. And I guess that's really what we're going to be working on today. Like my goal is to be able to have the UI set up for signing in. So we'll build a nice UI for like an actual email, password, text box, and a sign up page and all that. And then we'll hopefully get it deployed to Azure, so that way we can start to use it in Voicify. Then hopefully we can get at least Alexa running with it. We could try Google too if we go pretty quickly, but we'll get an actual user authenticated on Alexa, and then just prove that we get the token. Like if we get that far, I'll be super, super happy. If we don't get, or if we get that far early, then we can just keep going, right? We'll work on actually deserializing the token, and then we'll work on like handling user preferences stuff and start to build out the rest of that. But if not, we'll do that Wednesday. And yeah, so why don't we get started? The first thing we need to do is take a look at the sign-in controller. So currently our whole project is, and I'll stop running this, but our whole API project is built for exactly that, an API. But we do actually need a UI set up for this, and so we need to pull in all the view stuff and get everything in there in order to actually be able to return view. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out all these temporary things, and we're instead going to be returning the actual redirects, right? So now that you've actually signed in, assuming everything goes well, you'll get redirected to the URL that you provided after it does all its validation. This, we need to actually, we were going to do the result pattern stuff. We can still get to that, but I just need to like pull in one of my NuGet packages and we'll be good to go. But for now, we'll just keep going with exceptions. So now instead of returning OK of is valid, we want to return a view with that model. So what this does, if you haven't used ASP.NET Core MVC, I'm trying to like scooch my chair in without rolling over puppies. If you haven't used ASP.NET Core MVC, what returning view does is it actually goes and looks through your view folder for Razor files that match the structure of like your method and like your controller name. So we need to like have views set up. We need to have like a whole layout scaffolding thing. We need to have like a web config so we know what NuGet packages are allowed to be accessed, and it's a whole thing. But we'll basically need a Razor file for /signin and then call it index.cshtml, and then we need to set up the model to be this because that's what we end up passing down. We'll end up adding little mystery input fields there. We'll do some HTML and some CSS goodness, just all basically server-side HTML. I think in the end we'll probably do some more SPA stuff as well, but for the sake of like the authentication thing, like piece, it's going to be just exclusively using the server-side rendering. That way we can control making sure it's only posting back from itself and people can't like fake being us and all that good stuff. Okay. I'll leave all these comments here, that way we can keep testing as we go. And I still need to do this to do, because right now like this actually will just throw an exception. But we need to actually handle errors a little bit better. So like technically according to the OAuth spec, if you like have an invalid request that like comes up, whether it's like an invalid grant type, invalid client ID, or like literally the username and password's wrong or whatever, you technically are still supposed to redirect. But you have to like redirect with an error in the parameter instead of like the tokens and stuff. So we'll need to set that up too, because right now we're basically just throwing exceptions whenever anything goes wrong. And we'll instead refactor that into using what's called the result pattern or the service result pattern, where our business logic will return an object that tells us how it went and what errors we have, and then we can use that as a means to do the redirect if it's not okay. It'll be nice and clean. That way our business logic cares about like the steps and how it went, and our controller logic just cares about like, hey, did the business logic work? No? Okay, then we gotta do the redirecting with this different thing. Nice separation of concerns there. Okay, let's see. I need to actually pull in all the view stuff. One of the things that I'm going to do here is actually just branch before I get started, because I'm going to pull in like a bunch of garbage. So we'll call this feature/views. Cool. And it switched for me. I'll push this if you care to follow along. All of this is up on GitHub as always, so feel free to grab it and tinker and play around with it and run it yourself too. Cool. So we've got that set up. All right. What I want to do is add actually a new project, and I'm basically just gonna pull all the stuff out from it that I need. So we're gonna create a new ASP.NET Core web app. We're not gonna actually use this one. We're gonna say sample views. The reason we're doing this is to make sure that we actually get the right things pulled out. So I'm going to use web application with MVC because that's what we're currently using. And I'm going to say no authentication because I don't want it adding identity for me and all that stuff. And then basically I just want to see what NuGet packages I'm missing, if any, and then I'll show you that view setup. Right, so like I said, we have like controllers like we do in ours. And if we look at like home controller, right, there's like index, there's privacy, there's error with a response cache. And then if you look at views, there's the same thing, like home controller to a home folder, index and privacy, just like these methods are named. So basically we need to mirror the same thing. But you'll notice there's other stuff in here too, like the shared side where we need like layout and error. There's a www root here which has like all the CSS and JavaScript in it as well. So what I'm going to do is literally copy these just shamelessly and paste them here. Boom. It is going to yell at me about some dependencies here. Okay, we've got views, we've got home. So if you look at what these do, right, we can pull out view data, you can also set models, and then it's just HTML and it's basically composing into everything. So if we set up a home controller, like I can just copy this, and then when we navigate to the root, we'll have something there. So I'll go to startup. There's some other stuff in here we have to do as well. We have to allow using static files. This is what's going to let us use the www root content. So we need to make sure we have that. And we need to have this default endpoint, right? So this use endpoints lets us actually set up all the routing stuff automatically in ASP.NET Core. And then we set up this default map route. So if you send nothing, if you just go to the root, we want to redirect to the home controller index, which will be this home controller index, which will return the view, and bada bing, bada boom, everything is built. I just want to check the shared stuff here, because one of the things we're going to have an issue with is like these namespaces, like we don't have models. We'll get rid of the error page here. That's good. So yeah, now I'm going to actually just shamelessly steal this stuff. So we'll take the default endpoint, where you want that in our startup at the very end. Down. Oh, we've got all this extra stuff down here. So we've already got this use endpoints. We've got map controllers as well. Get rid of that. We've got HTTPS redirection, which is good. We wanted that too. What we need, the static files. Right? Yes, static files above something else. Okay, so if I try to run this, we still have the default launch path to /swagger. But if I just go, oh yeah, there's the build errors. Eventually I'll be able to just go to /. Alright, this is generating some stuff which I don't need, which means we're just missing, yeah, we don't need this error page. I'm just getting rid of that. Basically it's trying to pull in stuff that we don't have, because I just got rid of the controller. We didn't have the models or anything. Eventually we'll get through this. view imports, I don't need these. Those namespaces aren't going to exist. I'm actually going to change this namespace to actually match as well, because I do actually want the home controller. That's the other one. This is the one. Boop. Is this view imports layout, right? What am I missing? Suave Keys. Validation scripts. Where was that page where it was literally just like, hey, you need to import these things? Alright, let's just try to run it anyway and see what happens. Right, so like I said, it's still going to default us to taking us to Swagger, but now if I just go to the root, now we have a welcome page. We've got our header that says samples view and a welcome. And now we'll be able to basically build in these views for our sign-in stuff as well. So let's get started with that. First things first, let's change sample views to Suave Keys. Sample, make sure there's no other samples. Suave Keys. Copyright Suave Keys. Not an actual entity, but it's fine. There we go. No more sample view. So now what we need to do is, like, if we look at the way that it's sort of composed, let me break this down a little bit. Such a suave. It's suave all up in here. Hey, Steven. So the way that this sort of breaks down is everything starts from this view start, which then is saying, like, hey, the layout for this page should be _layout. Which is conveniently named, and it's all string-based, kind of gross stuff, if I'm being honest. There's no like type safety to it, but now that we have layout, this is what's composing the actual HTML document. So we've got our head here, we've got our body, we've got that whole header bar with the navigation in it, and then we've got this container. I'm pretty sure this is doing all Bootstrap stuff by default. And then we call render body, and this is what's going to basically let us handle it from our controller. When we go to /home/index, we go to this /home/index file, and then this is going to be rendered as the body. So on that page, this was everything in the middle. As we start to swap stuff out, that's all we're going to have to deal with. So even when we have like the sign-in controller, we might want to use a different layout. That way we can basically control not having that toolbar and not letting them navigate away. All they can do is sign in, but we'll get there. So let's start by adding a new folder here for sign in. And then we have this index endpoint as well, which is what we're going to be using, except that it's not going to be as simple as this one, right? We can't just say like, hey, here's your title, and now here's a stupid welcome message and a link to ASP.NET Core docs. I'm actually going to change this a little bit. Welcome to Suave Keys. And that's good enough for me. Just don't want links to docs everywhere. But what we need is the ability to actually like sign in and handle the form and everything else. Oops. Oh no, copying too many things. I'm just gonna copy this over so I don't have to go find it in the file new. Okay. So this is sign in. Sign in to Suave Keys. And what we need to do here is actually define the model. So if we say at model, then we define our type. So what we're passing in as our model is coming from that sign-in controller. Let me close all this stuff. That way I can stay a little bit cleaner here. So this here, when we pass in view and we pass in a parameter, that's what's defining our model. So at the top of this file, we're actually defining the type of it, which is auth code request. And we actually do need to qualify the whole namespace. So you say suave keys .model or .core .models .transfer .auth, and now we have it. Right, so now that this is defined, this little lowercase model, now we can start to use our uppercase models everywhere and actually like build a form and all that. So what I'm going to do is put a form in here. And this should default post back to the same URL, which is good because we have that endpoint for posting back in the sign-in controller, which will then take in the rest of the stuff. But basically what we need, right, we get here with all of these parameters in the URL. Our controller takes them out of the URL and puts them in the model. But we need these to come back up in the full form body. So to do that, we can create hidden input fields that we put these on, and then actually have the input fields for username and password. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. There's other ways we could do it with just like basically reading from the actual, what am I doing here? Reading from the actual like query string params and stuff like that, but that's far less fun. So if we say like input name equals challenge, and then value is at model.challenge, and type is hidden. It means it won't actually show up, but when we post all of this form field values, we'll get everything sent up. So we got challenge, state, client ID, grant type, redirect, challenge method, and origin is separate. So we can just grab each of these names. Technically, we could do this with the C# stuff too and use name of, but honestly, I don't really think it's too necessary. All right, state, client ID, grant type, redirect, whoops, and then we've got challenge method, right? So these are all hidden, and now we need to actually put in our inputs for our text field. So we have a username and a password text field. So we have input, name, and it's username, value, we don't have a value, type is text, and that's probably enough. Input, name, password, and type is password, and then we're gonna put in a button for submit. So we'll say type. Technically this type here is redundant, but whatever. And then in that we'll say sign in. All right, let's run this and make sure we have everything set up right. And then we'll put some breakpoints on the post endpoint, right? So we want to make sure we get back here if we sign in. And then we need to actually like pull our values from Postgres and go. So this is going to throw invalid if we try to just go to that URL with nothing on it. Which we might not want at some point, but okay. So instead of going to Swagger, we're going to go to sign in. Right, so we're hitting this breakpoint. This will end up failing. This is going to throw an exception because we have like nulls everywhere. It's going to be like, oh no, you can't do that. Boom. Invalid client. So what we need to do is open up Postgres, which I have open. And we want our auth clients. And I want to view all that data because we're going to take like our grant type, our redirect, all that good stuff. So we need client ID is this. I'm just going to set up a notepad here to keep this on. So we've got client ID is that, and grant type equals authorization code. I think that's what it is. Is it the underscore one? We can check in this validation here. Oh. Maybe it doesn't actually take the code. I can't remember. Yeah, grant underscore type. But what is the value? There we go. Alright, we can close this. We don't need the model anymore. Alright, we're not validating it there. It comes up on the next one. Origin's fine. It's going to come from localhost. But we need to put a redirect URI. So we'll say, and redirect URI is HTTP localhost. What is the current one we have? This. I want to just get the same value and basically redirect to itself. Whoops, notepad, that's what I wanted. Oh no, why did it delete so much? Do we get double HTTP? No, we're good. Okay. What else do we need? I don't care about that anymore. I don't care about that anymore. Grant type redirect challenge. We have the ability to pass up no challenge now because that's what Alexa's going to do, but we do need state. So state is just randomly generated, so we'll just say ABC123. And we can do it with the code challenge. So if we say challenge equals ABC123 as well, and challenge method can be null, but we can also make it explicitly close this, explicitly plain if we want. That way we don't have to do like all the hashing and stuff. So if you look at all the things, right, client ID, redirect URI, code challenge, and then code challenge method. I typed this in wrong. Code challenge. Alright. This is what we want. I think that's everything. So we'll keep this handy. I'll make sure I save it so I don't delete it. We'll say auth test stuff. So now if we go to /signin and paste in all of this other goodness, this should actually be valid now. Edits were made. I don't think I edited anything. Ugh, let me rerun it. What did I change? It's alright, we'll build. Yeah, build succeed. Nothing changed. Alright, we'll refresh here with all this stuff. So now if we look at everything we've got client ID, we've got grant type, we've got redirect URI, code challenge, state, all that good stuff. Is valid should be true. Sweet. So now do we get the form page? Look at this beautiful sign-in page. Awesome. So we have a username, alexander.dunn@outlook.com, and I think I named it test123. If I sign in, oh, why is it hitting the get endpoint? Invalid client. That should have been a post. It's probably something I need to change on my form here. Action. How can I force this to post back? Let's see. HTML form post. Oh, method. Method post. All right. I thought it was default post. Who would have thunk? All right, we'll try this again. Yeah. Internal server error, invalid client. I disagree. I'm gonna get rid of these breakpoints. Is this the wrong one? Oh. Kenzie, thanks for the gifted sub to Star Whalen, and welcome to the pirate crew. All right, test 1, 2, 3. Enjoy your Benny emotes. What other stuff am I missing? There it is. Some Bennies in the chat. HTML form post body, right? It's posting them right now as the query string, and I want it from body. On submit. I mean, I could just do it manually, but I don't want to. I don't want to pass that up in the URL. Method, get in post, rel, target, name. Why doesn't it? What am I missing? Give my pets a treat. Alright, hold on. They're all sleeping right now. One of them ought to wake up. Want a treat? Who wants a treat? I'll let you use just the 600 points, but each one of them is getting a treat. You, Levi. Oh, yummy. Minnie. Treat. Ryder. Treat. Okay, what am I missing? Does it actually have to go through the URL? Alright, that's fine. All we have to do is actually switch this from form. We just make it wherever the hell you send it from. I don't care. Alright, back this out. Type this in again. Test 1, 2, 3. So something, invalid client. Do I not have a... It's not actually sending the post. Hydrate. I'm hydrating with cold brew. It's basically the same. Why is this coming back? Why are we not getting a post back? Am I having like some weird caching going on? Right, that. Can I check the HTML here? Where's my footer? Or not my footer, my form. Yeah, now it's method post. There we go. I was still sitting in the old version of the HTML. Alright, let's make sure we got all the stuff in here. Origin's null, we pull that out later, and we also don't really care about it. Grant type, password, all that stuff is there. Null reference exception. What? How is this null reference exception? Alright, we're gonna actually step through it. Bam. User is not null. Is password match? Yes. Is valid? No. Alright, so that's what's failing us. Let's see what I'm missing here. What's not getting sent in? Client ID's there. Oh, we don't have host. Wait, where's our... Oh, we don't have auth client yet, that's why. Auth client's not null. We've got host. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, origin's null. Okay, so we need to actually make sure we're passing in origin. Which means we can pass it all the way through. And keep it as a hidden field, because technically now from here it's not going to be there. So if we say input name origin value is model origin type is hidden. That way, even though we're going to actually be in our own UI and sending the request, hey buddy, from ourselves, we can keep track of the original origin that the redirect came from in the first place. Okay. We're gonna get there. Back on this. Test 1, 2, 3. Oh, we got a response back. And we've got an auth code. So now this should redirect us to just slash. Right, this is just plain slash and state and code is that. Is it redirecting? Am I still on like a breakpoint somewhere? Oops. Not sure what the dealio is here. So one thing we can do to actually like fully handle the sign-in is like redirect to our own endpoint that we have set up that then like does the redirect again. But right now it's literally stuck. Why is it stuck doing that? That redirect was just to slash home and then passing in some code and state. Unless our home controller's got some weird stuff. Here, let's do this. We'll have another route. So if we have HTTP get, we have public async. Let's do this. We'll call this specifically redirect. Task of iAction result. We'll call it redirect. Auth. And this will take in a string state and a string code. And then what we want to do is actually then hit this code endpoint with everything that we just set up. So what we will do is redirect to slash signin slash code. We still need client ID and stuff too, though, huh? I just want to see that this works. Maybe we can't do that. We need to keep track of the client ID. And I don't want to like just throw it in memory. Just please let me redirect. Swagger, 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 swagger. Alright, we'll try this again. Test 1, 2, 3. Why am I getting infinite redirects? Oh, this does need to be URL encoded. What is happening? Here's our post endpoint. Can I not redirect from a post? Is that why? I have a feeling that's the case. I can't redirect from a post. It should be HTTP localhost 44326 with state and code. Yeah. Let's see. ASP.NET Core MVC redirect from post. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we have to actually accept this as a GET request. Well, shoot. Let's do this. Call this, instead of this being a post endpoint, let me kill the debug, call HTTP GET, and we can call this, let's see, sign in. That's honestly probably fine. Or actually, we'll call this authenticate. Authenticate. So now, from here, we don't just want to post it there. We want to post. How do I choose where to? I need to keep the stupid HTML spec up. Action. Action is slash sign in slash authenticate. That should work. I'll have to go back and refresh though, even if we still have it up. Alright, so if we go back here, forward, right? Refresh to make sure our form is what we want it to be. Sign in slash authenticate. Why didn't that work? Slash sign in slash authenticate. Test 1, 2, 3. I'm not even hitting it. Levi, come here, baby. Come here. You wanna come on stream? Here, you're all tangled. Hold on, puppy's tangled. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, say hello to Levi. He's my lap puppy. We can take a break from authenticating in order to play with puppies. Levi, look at this little baby. He looks so much bigger on camera. The camera puts on like 10 pounds on you. Huh. We need to get some Levi's in the chat. Oh, good boy. Let me see. Want your toy? Here. Want this? Levi. You just chilling? Want your toy? Want your toy? No? I mean, Benny's in the chat. He's welcome to get down. He's, I guess he's just gonna chill. You wanna just sit? You wanna work on some OAuth? Okay, Levi, I need you to teach me how to actually do HTTP posts here properly. What do you think? You wanna lick my glass? Alright, why are we not getting here? HTTP get authenticate. Is that showing up properly in our little swagger? Sign in, authenticate. Sign in, authenticate. What am I missing? It's also, it's not actually posting back the right things. Hi. Hi, little bubba. Oh. Hi, Levi. You gonna help me write code, or you just gonna be cute? Okay. Yeah, why isn't this... It's not even posting up. You know what we can do? We can set up the redirect endpoint. We can have it post back just like we were, but then have a different endpoint for handling the redirect. Right, so if we post here, then... Buddy, you're falling. You're slipping. There you go. A little lap dog. Okay. I need to take the post body and actually authenticate the user, but then still redirect them back. Can I do that from the client side maybe? Like if I just return... Hi, bud. If I just return view with this same model but with a redirect. Maybe I don't need all this stuff. Maybe it should just be running from the same endpoint and do a get back to itself. Bubba. Can I technically do this? Like, will it know which one to route it to based off of what was passed up? Alright, baby. You're so sweet. You're killing me. You are so sweet. Look at you. He's just staring at me with such cute little eyes. Yeah, you want a treat? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, let's try that. Let's try with just like to see if ASP.NET Core will be cool with it. Ambiguous match. Okay, that makes sense. How can I allow both? How can I allow both? What am I just missing here? I feel like an idiot. This should definitely be post. Like, we should be posting that form data up. And then on success, we should return a view with a redirect. And we're gonna let that view do the redirect instead. So, we'll have a new... I guess we can just straight up get rid of this. We're good to go. Oh, I'm running. I can't remove it. Get rid of this stupid sample views project. Be gone. Okay, we want a view. New view. And we'll call this sign in redirect. And we'll just have it empty now, but we do want to return it with a state and code. Can we technically use a tuple here? What are you doing? What are you doing? Is that more comfy? You want the armrest? I don't think I've ever had a foster puppy that's just so willing to just sit here on my lap. Like, he's just chilling with his head on an armrest. Hold on. You tilt this down, we gotta get more puppy in the view. Oh, yeah. He's literally just a lap dog. He's like a little lap blanket while I code. Uh-oh. Someone's here. Okay, we'll call this redirecting. We'll say redirecting. And then for the model, can we do a tuple and say state string state string code? Or actually we can just do string. We'll literally just make it a string. That's all we have to do. Right, so now from our controller, we're not going to return the redirect. We're actually going to return a view, and we'll return the sign in redirect view, and then there's our model. Sorry, so if we have like p redirecting to, oh my goodness, just to model. Okay, we can run this real quick. I might need to step out and see what's going on with this puppy, or he's gonna just run outside. Alright, now if I refresh this, we should be good. And now I can sign in, and we should get the post back. Invalid client, why? Oh, it's not posting. We changed that. This needs to be a post. Do I have to rebuild anything? Or if I refresh, is it going to be fine? Let's see. Body. Form is still good. Yeah, we do got to rebuild. Lil Levi is defending his household that he's only been at for like 3 days. Alright. Now if I refresh this, my form should be a post. Please. Post. Alright, cool. Sign in. Right, we get this, and now we should get the view that says redirecting to, and there's our URL. So now on the client side, we need to actually do this redirect. Let's see. There might be an easy way to do this. MVC redirect from view. Can say if you want to execute methods that don't directly produce output, you do that. Can I do that? Can we do a response? No, that's not a thing. That's probably old. I can't do it from the endpoint. We have to actually do it from the client side. We can just do it in a JavaScript a little bit. Redirect to URL. Can I just like set location? Like if I just do script location.href equals model. That might work. We'll see. Right, so now if I refresh this, does not like that. Unexpected token. What are you talking about? Oh, it doesn't have the old. Okay, here. Let's do this. We'll refresh. Test 1, 2, 3. Get rid of these. It's not actually doing the redirect at all. Can I not actually just do this? Can I not just like throw in a script? Expression expected. Is that why? Now will you like me? missing here? JavaScript redirect to URL. Window location replace, is that going to do it? We're so close to just doing all these stupid redirects, I think, or we're doing it totally wrong and then it's just going to be bad. Alright, let's refresh this again. Missing this. You sure? Script. Oh, we need it in quotes. Oh my gosh. That's probably why it failed in the first place. We probably could just do location.href equals whatever. Close some of our bonus swaggers. So, oh, is it doing the redirect? Why is it always spinning? Is it getting like a 404? Can it like not find? Yeah, see, it's trying to do it. Oh, it's escaping that ampersand. But why is it just hanging like that? Why are you being escaped? What if we have, let's create an endpoint here that takes state and code just to see that we get it. So if we have an HTTP get temp redirect public async task iaction result temp, and we'll take in a string state and a string code, and we'll return an OK with code, right? Put a breakpoint there. We can now sign in with a redirect that takes in /temp redirect. So if we back this out, instead of this just being that URL, we can say /sign in slash, what do we call it? Temp redirect. Temp redirect. Alright, now let's see. It's so weird. It's literally just spinning. Oh wait, that's going to the wrong. Well, yeah. Localhost sign in. Like if I take this and throw it in the browser. Actually, that is super weird. This is spinning too. Why? Sign in, temp redirect, state and code. What am I doing here? Something getting like stuck in an infinite loop? /sign in /temp redirect. Like that works. And code's just gonna be null. I'll just be like nothing. But it's still spinning. What is going on? Like, why is this just spinning on a simple HTTP endpoint that returns OK? Temp redirect. If I pass anything up, I'm literally not getting it sent to me at all. Like I simply just don't hit that endpoint. Does it actually buffer like that if I do like, if I hit it from Swagger? Like that works. There's gotta be something weird going on with that's my HTTPS endpoint. That worked. It doesn't like that it's HTTP. Oh, I bet it's getting stuck on like an infinite redirect because we have like the HTTPS redirect set up. Weird. Alright, so I think that's what it is, which means that I need to change these to HTTPS. Right, save that. Now, where did my one go where I was actually signing in? This one? This one? Nope. Not you. Not you. One of these. One of these had the actual sign in somewhere. Did I close that one? Shoot. I might have lost it. Okay. We'll go to /signin, client ID, all that good stuff. Except I want to change the URL to that. Okay. Now let's see. Test 1, 2, 3. Now we actually got the redirect here. So now it should just take us to a page that says okay. Oh, weird. It's still just showing the redirect. Oh, probably because this isn't returning a view. Let's see. If I make a temp view here, that just takes in the code. Call it temp. The model is a string, so let's just like don't need the H1. Put a P and we'll say model. So now instead of just returning OK from the controller, we'll return a view, and the name will be temp, and it'll be code. Alright, let's see what we can get here. Should be able to replay the post that we just did over here as well. Alright, we're redirecting, and now we're here. It got messed up with this. This redirect got URL escaped. Why is that? At least now we have like the chain going though. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting everything's an edge. Like this should have the P in it, but it's not gonna have the code because of this. This is not getting the code. Like if we pass down state, I bet it'll have everything. Because it's getting escaped when we do the redirect. But why is that being escaped? Alright, let's do this, right? Test 1, 2, 3. State is ABC. Code is null. What is the we can check request dot query. Request dot query dot to string. That's stupid. Like we have state, but the code is just bombed. Oh, it's gonna think it's amp and code because like technically this isn't escaped, but it's escaping it. Okay, so if we do this, if we go back to just returning OK, then we can get stuck here and check the JavaScript, because basically like this sign in redirect, that should then be doing the client side redirecting. Like for whatever reason it gets escaped here. Alright. I'll take this, back it out. Test 1, 2, 3. Alright, so if we go look at this page. Come on. Okay, whatever. Just run. Just run, please. Now if we inspect the page, we see the script. It's getting... So this has to be .NET escaping it for some reason, because it's clearly not escaped here. Like, it renders it just fine. But why is it escaping? Right, yeah, because we don't have the and, it's just and code. Why is it escaping that? ASP.NET Core, MVC, Razor, URL encoding in JavaScript. That's such a niche thing to look up. Solution is to only encode the query string elements. That's not useful. I get the whole thing sent down. Can I decode it? Like, it's getting encoded automatically for me. Maybe I can just pull this in. Can I call @URL decode? That would be pretty clutch. Alright, sign in redirect. Can we do @URL? No. HTTP utility. I might need to bring this in using what is it? System.net.http. Where is HTTP utility? System.web. HTTP utility dot decode model. Alright, this might do it. Now, build errors. Expected a semicolon. Oh, duh. Refresh this. Code is still null and state is there. Why? Don't encode my string. I can do it all by myself. Why is it doing that? It's so annoying. It's literally not here, but the second it's here, it's bad. Maybe I can set it as a variable. URL is @model. And then this will be redirect URL. Be gone, be gone, be gone. Why? What is the JavaScript one for? A JavaScript. Oh, it's HTML encoded. That's not URL encoded. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's getting HTML encoded. So I can do HTTP utility.html decode model. We don't need the @model. Yeah, obviously that's not URL encoded. They still left the ampersand in. Still no code. What is going on? Why? but it's literally not encoded here in the actual HTML. JavaScript, HTML, decode, unescape. Is that just top level? Escape. Sign and redirect. Don't need this anymore. So we just want to call an escape model. We're so close. Once we have this done, we can just deploy it and start authorizing our accounts and stuff. Hopefully. I'm sure we'll run into some issues there too, but you never know. Please have a code. What the hell? Okay, if I just copy this, like, sign a string, unescape this. It didn't actually unescape it. What the hell is going on? Alright, you know what? We're gonna just build it on the client and not just pass in the URL. So instead of just taking it as a string, we're gonna have string host, string state, and string code as our type. And then we're literally gonna build this as at host, then what? Whatever. So we can say var host is model.host. Var state is model.state, and var code is model.code, and then we're literally going to redirect to host plus question mark plus code equals plus code, because I don't think I can do string interpolation here because it never gets compiled, so this is all old stupid string building, plus ampersand state equals plus state. Right, so now for our temp one, we want to return view and temp and code. This feels like such a lame workaround to the fact that it's just deciding to encode it. Model, oh, we need to actually pass in the tuple. Duh. So up here we'll pass in, what do we call it? Host equals that, state code. What build errors? Why don't you like? Tuples. Alright, let's see if we'll get lucky here. Redirecting to that. Unexpected. What'd I break? Let's see. Oh, I need strings around these. Same thing. We're so close. get a single quote, and you get a single quote. Refresh again. Let's go. We finally did it. We have this stupid state and code. That was unbelievably disgusting. Okay. So we have everything we need for signing in. And presumably it'll do the rest of the redirects. It's going to be kind of tough to test that otherwise. I mean, what we could do is, with this code and state, right, in this temp, we could do another redirect to the auth code and basically get the access token and like validate that, like as if we were our own client. So instead of just taking in the code, actually I guess that's all we need. No, we need the challenge too. We'll hard code that as a test. Okay, so we're gonna put another script in here. We'll say var code is model, right? And then we'll have var, everything else we can just slam in the URL. So just like we did here with this redirect, we're gonna redirect back to actually try to get this code, right? So this grant code. So we're going to redirect to / sign in / code, and then we've got code equals yep, plus code plus, what are the other parameters we need here? Grant type, client ID, redirect, code verifier. So this is going to be our ABC123. Code verifier equals, or ampersand code verifier equals ABC123, and grant type equals authorization code, and client ID is not that, this is that, and what else, sign in controller, redirect URI, and redirect URI equals HTTPS colon / localhost. What is our current port? That. We're just going to send it to root with the stuff on it. That. Is that it? Is that all we need? Let's see, we've got grant type done, client ID, redirect URI. Yeah, all right, cool. Let's try it. So now we'll try it all the way from the beginning. If I sign in, it should in the end redirect me to the root URL with an actual access token and refresh token. Oh, we're in the grant code. So we've got all this stuff. Look at that, we got an access token. See if we can actually use it to hit that test endpoint. Make sure everything fully worked. Well, that's good. We didn't have to deal with anything else there at the end. All right. There's the expiration. There's our refresh token. So if we just go to, I guess, any of these swaggers to bear, actually it does it automatically for us now. Authorize, close, test. Should get a 200 here. Perfect. There's our user ID. Okay. We'll keep the temp in here for now. I'll probably end up deleting it before we get into the setup here, but I'm going to commit this. We'll get rid of the sample view project. Okay, so we'll say added views. and setup for authenticating. We can make our actual sign-in page a little bit nicer too. There are some input things. We've got Bootstrap, so I just need to remember the class names. Bootstrap form classes. So I want a button class form control. That's what I want. Form control. And then buttons are buttons. Button primaries. I'm so used to doing React, it's almost weird seeing it say class there. Okay. Updated UI for form. We'll probably end up also wanting to do like the permission checks that they like will show the auth client name to the user too and be like X wants to be able to sign in and get access to your preferences and stuff, but we'll go through that in like a polishing phase, just like we're going to with doing like the result pattern result pattern refactor and all that good stuff. But we're 90 minutes in, we got a UI, which means we can push this. We have our API, we have our database. I do need to go set up an auth client there though. And we also need like these auth settings as well. The connection string is going to come from somewhere else, but I'm going to put this stuff in, actually I want this to come from somewhere else though. I don't want to put that in source control. I'm just going to git ignore that file. Okay, so we'll copy this. This is going to be app settings.staging.json. This is going away. Issuer is going to be Suave Keys dev.azurewebsites.net. And I'm going to git ignore this. Ignore. Updated git ignore. That way, like, even though I'm streaming it right now, before, like, when we go to production, I'll swap this out with something that we won't show on stream. That way we'll be good to go. Awesome. Okay, so we need to actually go to Azure, and we need to go and set our environment variable for ASP.NET. So we add an application setting, ASP.NET core environment, and that's going to be staging. We've got our connection string set up. Right, cool, save. Yep. And then once that's done saving, which it is, then we can just publish this. Oh. Yeah, we'll publish it. I want to explain this part that I have to do next. So, we have a database set up, but it doesn't have any of our migrations. It actually doesn't have the database itself. Like, we have the server set up, but there's no database. Like, if we go look at pgadmin here, close this stuff. Like, Suave Keys dev, there's nothing in here for Suave Keys. We have the server in Azure, but we need to actually set up the server, and we need to add the migrations and everything else. The way I like to do that, especially for projects like this that are simple in terms of their data structure, is actually let the API control when it runs the migration. Otherwise, what we have to do is, like, the way we were using the local PowerShell to update our local database, we'd have to do that, but, like, connect to it remotely. It also means that I need to, like, have a username set up that's enabled to build stuff that's not this, or I can use the same account, but it's kind of sketch. So what I like to do, and I've blogged about this, and I'm actually going to go use that blog, is I like to migrate the database during startup. So I have this blog post here, Seed Your Entity Framework Core Database at Startup. Basically what we do is build an extension for our startup. So, like, here's our, like, seeder and blah, 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 if you need to seed actual data, which we can do, but we can also do it manually. And then there's this web host extension that calls seed data. And what it does, it creates the scope, gets access to the database, but it calls migrate. So it'll actually, like, create the database and update it. And then we can add seeders eventually as well. So if we go add this here, I'm going to add it to the API. I'm going to add a new class. Actually, I'm going to add a new folder for extensions. I don't want that at the root. New folder called extensions. And then I'll create a web host extensions. Extensions. And we'll paste that in there. Web host. We don't have any of these. Create scope. For this, I want to get the Suave context. Is that what we called it? Suave Keys context. Right, so we get a reference to the context, and then we call migrate on it. This, I think I need a namespace. Yep. Cool. So all we have to do now is in our program where everything's kicked off, like before we call .run, we're just going to call .seedData. And I need to make sure that, actually, this is an iHost now, because this previous one is from an older version of ASP.NET Core. So we just use iHost. We need to bring in this namespace here using that. Now we can call seedData. So now even when we run it locally, it'll update our database properly. But it also means when we publish, right? So now if I publish this and we run it, we can now refresh our Postgres and we'll start to see it come up. So once it's done, we should also have Swagger now. Oops, 500. Application failed to start. Why? It ran this time. But now it doesn't like it. It doesn't like the database creation. Yeah, it didn't create it. Let me pull my Azure over here. I might need to change settings on my my network connection settings for my Postgres database in order to actually be able to connect to it. Let's see. Okay, save that. And I don't want you all seeing my actual database because that would be no bueno. Refresh this. Feels like it's actually doing something, no? A couple more things to check. Where is my actual database? Home, all resources. I should have a Suave Keys dev. There we go. Connection security. Allow access to Azure services. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. And then I need to have a reference to my thing over here. Sorry, this is probably pretty boring, but I'm trying to actually restart some stuff. Saving these things. It's currently updating my database connection security settings. It can take a few seconds to do that. I've actually seen it take up to a couple minutes, so we'll see here. Update them. Let me in. Might need to also actually restart the database server. I've seen issues with that in the past of it like not actually opening up, even though I told it to open up. Are you done yet? Successfully updated. Add new firewalls. Okay. I need to restart you. Restart. Restarting my database server. So what we need is to have the actual database up, and then we can go in pgadmin, add a reference to the client for like our Alexa skill, and then try to go set up all the account linking info we need. So almost there. What we can do ahead of time is probably go set up some of this stuff. So if we go to Suave Keys integrations, there's a section down here for account linking. So we've got authorization URI and access token URI, access token scheme. I'm not sure what this wants. I might have to look at the differences here. But let's go ahead and pull this up while we're waiting for that server to restart. Alexa skill account linking. Go basically look at what like the actual spec is. Account linking enables your skill to connect the skill user's Amazon identity with their identity in a different system. For example, suppose you own a web-based service, Ride Hailer, that lets you order taxis. You can create a custom skill that enables the user to say, Alexa, ask Ride Hailer to order a taxi. Completing this request requires the skill to access the Ride Hailer service as a specific Ride Hailer user for profile and payment information. Therefore, you need to link between the Amazon account, right? That's the idea, is they sign in, and now we know who they are because Amazon knows who they are according to our access token stuff. So choosing an account linking flow, Alexa app only versus app to app. What? The user starts from your app or website, chooses to initiate account linking, then is redirected to the Alexa app to log in with Amazon if the Alexa app is not installed. The user acknowledges the account request. Oh, so this is the we can set it up in our app or in our website to be like, hey, account link my Amazon account, and all they have to do is click a button and not have to even like explicitly enable the skill first. It basically like automates these steps. Okay, like I understand the concept, right? They sign in and then we start getting access tokens and we got to do stuff with it. Concepts. Here's the overview. Basically, Alexa acts as doing all of the brokering automatically. So they get taken to the login page. That's going to be our /signin. Redirects with the auth code. They then call the access token URI, which is our /code URL, and then they get an access token. I think technically we need to enable the refresh token endpoint there as well, which right now we have them technically as separate endpoints. So that might cause us some trouble for them to refresh the token afterwards. But then they send it along to our skill, and then our skill can do things with it. So we should be able to just set it up pretty straightforward. If I go to I'm wondering if I need to do it on the Voicify side. What do we got here? Skills. Oh, this is a new view. What? This changed. Why is this like a drop down? Oh, look at this. It's a whole thing now. This literally was not this way yesterday, so there's a whole little new UI to it. Okay. Account linking. So we can turn on account linking. Allow users to link their account to your skill from within your application or website. So we'll do that, which means we have to do auth code grant flow. Let me check on... I'm going to save this for now, even though it's in progress. Is it not going to let me save until I have it set up? Okay, that's fine. HTTPS Suave Keys dev.azurewebsites.net/signin. And then this one is the same thing, but it's /code. Client ID will set up, but we can just go generate a GUID real quick. We shouldn't need the client secret. Oh, no, no, we do need the secret for refresh tokens. That's right. Okay. Authentication scheme. Yeah, basic. List domains that the authorization URL will fetch content from. You can provide up to 30 domains. It's weird. If it's not provided, we do provide it. And then these are the redirect URLs we have to set up. I think these ones change based off of where you're coming from, but we might need to actually support all three of them, which would require us to change some things. Okay, let's try refreshing this. Still getting that error. It literally just finished restarting the machine. Alright, let's go restart our server again. Come on. Why are you failing to run? You have a connection string, right? I think we gave it a connection string properly. Asp Net core environment is set to staging. Let's see. I'm going to try to run it locally against staging real quick. So I'm going to pull it over here to update that connection. It might just be that I'm not pulling it in properly. 1 second here. Okay, let's try this. If I set this from dev to staging, and we run it locally, we should see if we get the database update or not. And I allowed my client IP to run it, so we should see exactly what's breaking, if it does break. Or maybe it'll just work and actually migrate it, and there's just something else going on. Is it doing it? It feels like it's probably trying to migrate something. Refresh. Still trying to do it. Oh. Exception while reading stream. Connection attempt failed. Huh. We're literally just not even connecting to the database. Did not properly respond. Maybe my client IP changed. Let's see. If we go to connection security, we already have my client IP connected. Make sure that the username is right. Oh, you know what it might be? I might not have permission to create tables here. Privileges. I can create databases. Super user. Must be a super user to alter super users. How am I not the super user of my thing? Like, I can probably create a database here. Yeah. Why can I not connect, though? Username's right. Password's right. we can do this. I'm over here. Let me check something. Do alright, just trying to run that again. It was like the longest timeout that I let it run for. Oh, that worked. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I need to take this updated connection string. But now, I mean, we should have the database anyway. There we go. Now we've got Suave Keys, so now we can actually start adding stuff. But I still need to actually update this. So I'm going to remove the connection string from there. I'm going to go update it here. Oops, don't need that whole thing. Okay, and save, and yes. And now we can actually pull everything back. All right, we're gonna republish. Just about good to go here. Can close these. Hopefully it just runs and everything's cool. That would be nice. Checking if it ran successfully. Nope, still breaking on me. What the hell? Did it not actually finish updating? Oh, I don't want to do that there. I'm gonna pull this back up. Did it not actually save? That did save. What I can do is put it in my app settings for now. See if this works. I'm just gonna actually put it in my app settings and try to deploy with that. Okay. Publish. There we go. Okay, let's go make a user account. So if I go to /swagger, I'm gonna create an account. This is just in dev, so I'm not too worried about it, but I will create this off screen so not everyone sees my password. Cool. We've got a user account. now what we need to do is, one, close all this garbage. Actually, probably just get rid of all this. And we need to set up some clients. So we'll set up our Alexa client. All right, so now if we expand our schemas, public, tables, auth clients, we've got this GUID that needs to be the same ID because that's what we're setting up in Amazon. For secret, I'm going to generate 2 GUIDs and then base64 encode them. There's our secret. Where did my Postgres go? There we go. This will be Suave Keys Alexa skill. Created date is 2020 07/19. I can't believe it's already the 19th. That's disgusting. Okay. Origin host. That might actually be tricky with our request validations, but your redirect URLs. Maybe I'm just like forgetting. Maybe this is just wrong. Secret. Put that in there. Account linked users will continue to use the previous URI until the user relinks their skill. Yeah, so we do need to change this to actually make it work with the refresh token as well. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. What are my redirect URLs? Oh, wait. Yeah, what? Don't need a scope, don't need a domain list. Don't need that. What I need is this, right? Redirection endpoints that could be used, that could be requested during the authorization to redirect the user back to the authorization process. So we might need to support multiples of these. For now, I'm gonna hope that it's those. Oh wait, no, these are the Japanese ones. Oh shoot. Okay, what are my redirect URLs? Like, what does it want from me? Suave Keys dev.azurewebsites.net. Is that fine? Let me save this now. Okay. What I want to do is add the account linking integration in Voicify. Go to account linking. Okay. We got to fill in our sign-in prompts, and we got to choose the app. So app is Suave Keys. Provide a prompt to be presented to users to request they sign into their account. The Google sign-in prompt should preface like to get your username, whereas Alexa prompt should contain the entire text of the prompt. In order to proceed, okay. In order to let you use your Suave Keys controller, you'll need to sign in. I'm just going to put it in for both. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So now we have a webhook we can call to start the account linking process. So we can put this on like the welcome message. And yeah. Start account. Wait, how are these different? Permissions API, account linking, request account linking. Oh, did it just make it? Did I just get 2 of them? Oh, application level. I think we have one for each level. Yeah, content. Okay, so let's do this. We'll go to the welcome message. Oh, Google sign-in response is built for us as well. We'll probably have to do some extra stuff to get that to work. All right, going to my welcome messages integrations, and then I want to add the start account linking process. Cool. let's see how this goes. Do we need to change anything? Do we need to build? Alexa, open Suave Keys.
In order to let you use your Suave Keys controller, you'll need to sign in.
So now I should have got a thing on in the Alexa app. Let me go check. Action need. Okay, here. Let me switch to camera only. So this just popped up in my Alexa app. Whoa. Action needed Suave Keys. You got to link your account. If I go to link account. Oh, I got a 500 error. Opening Chrome. Let's see what this full URL is. I'm going to copy this and, I don't know, like text it to myself, send it to myself on Slack. Let's see. If I paste this, send it. Alright, let me pull up Slack real quick. So, I got an error back, and here's the URL. Oops. Let's see. Redirect redirect URI. It's the right one. Client ID is right. Response type is code. State is a random string. It's a big random string. That's a really big random string. Redirect URI, HTTPS, the Python GUI, which I think is the one that we set up. It might be because it's encoded. I wonder if we're getting like the fully encoded value. Well, here's what we can do. We'll keep this URL. We'll run it locally against staging. Oh, actually, that's not gonna work. Can't do that. Let's see. Can we do that? Maybe we can do that. We'll try. And then we'll swap this out for this. 500. Alright, let's start stepping through it. So in our sign-in controller, it's this endpoint here. There's no code challenge, which is stupid. Step into this. We find the auth client. Oh, well, this is why. Our origin check doesn't make sense. I'm just going to get rid of this origin check. Technically, it's always going to come from us. It's like the dumbest thing I could have done. Okay, let's publish this. Actually, I'll run it locally first, and we'll see what we get. All right, refresh that. Step in. Auth client's good. Redirect URI is not good. Request.redirect URI. HTTPS Python GUI Amazon.com does not start with. Oh, this is like the whole thing. Wait, what's wrong? HTTPS Python GUI blah blah blah. Link M19. M19. How is that false? API skill link. M1906 KLV. It's literally, this is what it is. HTTPS. It's like ABC starts with ABC. Oh my gosh. These are good tests to have. We're not to lowering this. We need to do that anywhere where we're doing that check. I think that might actually be the only place. No, it's here too. Alright, now we should be able to get through to the valid endpoint. Refresh this page. I knew we were going to have to like work out some kinks and stuff with this stuff, but this should both be true. Okay, so now we get our page to sign in. Oh my god, these are ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to republish this. We're going to try again from the actual account linking page. Alright, new one's going up. I don't have a cable over here, otherwise I would pop it up on Visor for you, but then again, I don't need you seeing me sign in. Okay, we've got our thing to sign in, so I'm going to click link account on my phone. It's redirecting me. I'm in my Suave Keys sign in page now. Enter. Done. Oh my gosh, what was my password? I think that's what it was. Alright, tapping sign in. 500 error here. Opening Chrome. Copy, send that to myself again, figure out what the heck is going on. Alright, let's look at this. Redirect URI looks good. What is it trying to hit? Oh, is the post failing? Hold on. Maybe I just did my password wrong. That would be pretty funny. Link account. Sign into Suave Keys. My email. Alright. Should be. Just trying to see everything that's in here. It's just like failing to post back. Alright, we're gonna do this again. Alright, so from here, see if I can get my password right. Oh, see that? Redirected me properly. What failed there then? Am I literally just typing in my password wrong? Debugging this stuff is just such a pain. Yeah, I just get straight to a 500 when doing it on my phone. Which is frustrating because it should be doing the exact same thing that we just did here, which seemed to basically work. There's no challenge. Hold on. I might, oh, am I literally just typing this in wrong? Oh my god, I was literally typing it in wrong. Alright, still getting an unable to link Suave Keys with Alexa. We are experiencing a problem connecting with the skill to link your account. You can try linking your account again by visiting the Suave Keys skill page. Alright, settings, link account, try again. This time I'm going to type in my password right. Go. Unable to link. Alright, do I get anything like on the Alexa side telling me that? Like, is there anything in my analytics? It's like, hey, this is why your things are failing. Account linking. Maybe it's this. Is this why? Client secret must not be. I have to enter the client secret again. It's a joke. Why? Da, 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 da. Okay, let's try again. From the app settings, link account, sign in. Go. Unable to link. Why? Like, I get like no feedback here. It's just like, yeah, it didn't work. Good luck. Come on. I'm not really sure what else to do here. I can try it on the Google one as well. Maybe that will play nicer. Just read through the concepts again. Codes and tokens. Don't I know it? I wonder if it's trying to use the refresh token. Could probably look at the analytics or logs as well on our actual web app. Let me see if I can pull that up. App Insights. Do I not have App Insights turned on? Man. I'm turning on App Insights for my Azure App Service. Your authorization server calls this URI to take the user back to the Alexa app after they log into their system. Passes in the redirect URI. Yes, got that. Access token URI. The URI of your token server, which is the endpoint of your authorization server that can receive the authorization code and return an access or refresh token pair. Yes. You specify this using the access token URI. can also find the Alexa redirect URI in the developer console. List multiple however, these sources list multiple redirects because the final value depends on where the user has registered their Alexa device. Sender previously used the redirect URI that Alexa passes in. Reciprocal access tokens. Amazon account to use as well. So is there something I need to actually handle from their auth side? So because technically it's not just like a one-way account link. Alright, let's look at requirements. OAuth, grant type. Must be over HTTPS. Good. Must have a mobile-friendly user interface. It didn't look too bad on mobile. Accept the user's credentials, then authenticate the user within your system. Generate an authorization code. Pass to the access token you're trying to retrieve. Keep track of the state value. Pass in the query string because your authorization server must use that same state value when it calls the Alexa redirect URI. Redirection. The following requirements apply to redirecting the user to the Alexa app. After authenticating the user, the login page must redirect the user and pass in the state and code, which we are doing. Like we're getting there. It's just like not. It's just saying it's not successful, which makes me think that it's not successful sending it back up with the code. Do we? I wonder if this is like not working properly or something. Let's see. Because we don't get the challenge method. Here, you know what? Are we still debugging? We have this page open. I wish it, for instance, in configuring your skills, please see this guide. Is this literally the one we're looking at? Yep. It doesn't look like it's ever sending the request to our grant code endpoint. Why? Why are you not returning it to our grant code endpoint? Let's make sure it's set up right. /signin/code. Right, that's our endpoint. /signin/code. But it's never getting there. Like, we redirect back properly, but then it just doesn't do it. Close. What else am I missing here? I feel like we're so close. Redirection domains. If your login page retrieves content from domains other than your authorization URI, you must add all of the domains to the domain list. No, I think everything we touch is still in there. Access tokens, refresh tokens. I mean, we have all that. Best practices. I mean, whatever. Provide the login page in the user's language. Provide parity between them. Include validation. Provide clear error descriptions. Limit the link. Support account recovery. Test navigation. These are like silly. These are like, hey, write code that actually functions. Make sure users can switch accounts. I mean, they can easily sign out. Implement account linking. Account linking for custom skills. Yeah. Yep, that's what we just saw. Looked great. What am I missing here? What are we missing? Trying it again just real quick, make sure I'm not insane. Yeah, it like never actually hits. It never hits our token endpoint, but we do the redirect. Like, does it not like this? Is this the problem? I wish I could pause it in the middle. Like, there's no way for me to, like, stop it from trying to do all these redirects and understand what's actually going wrong. And they're not showing me any errors. Like, all I get is just this, whoops. Oh no, you couldn't account link. We've got the client ID. Let me check like all the, I'm just gonna put breakpoints everywhere and see what happens. So we should get to here, pass in the sign and redirect, which should have the state and code. So let's make sure we get that. Okay. Response has state and code. Redirect URI is that. There's code. Is this, where's the state? Code and state. Does it technically get like redirected twice or something? Like, what is going on? There's the 302. Maybe that's why. Maybe doing the 302 is not cool. Like, doing this redirect is not actually what it should do. It should like navigate there in a different way. But that doesn't really make sense. It shouldn't make a difference. Then we get taken to skillstore.amazon with the same thing. And then it doesn't do anything else. What am I missing here? Skill store with the same values, because this is just doing the redirect, and then it's just like, nah. Let's see. Alright, Bing, please help me out. Fails a step. Yeah, unable to link your skill. It's not even calling my API. Yeah, okay, so this is what we were saying too. Double check your scopes in the redirect URI. Make sure they're whitelisted. They are. Requesting are allowed for the client. Do we need to provide a scope? Like, is that why? own custom domain. Oh, this is different. This is the same thing. Refresh an access token generation API from access codes having problem in its header. Using a proper header at the server side. What are you talking about? Cannot test directly through the browser. The process like this. Install X app, open your skill, press yes, log in, do that. The token endpoint must return in the JSON body, but that's not what we're doing. We're returning it in the URL within 4.5 seconds. I mean, that's plenty of time. We could try switching it to do the body as JSON. I thought that's what this whole basic HTTP versus like HTTP basic versus like credentials in request body. Like the HTTP basic should imply that we pass it in the URL and not in the body. Unless there's something I'm missing. Let's see, we'll just follow this Stack Overflow rabbit hole. Nope, that one's gone. Unsuccessful. Problem in its headers. Kindly check that you're using proper header at server side. But is it trying to like post to that? Is that why? Maybe it's trying to post to my get endpoint. Let's see. It's all using incognito, doing its own thing. Implicit password client credentials. OAuth authorized token. OAuth management portal. Permissions. Client ID. Oh, this is their local side for setting it up. Account linking. So they're doing it in request body. I wonder if they're going to try to post it back instead or something. Like, it's got to be something like that. Account linking concepts. Let's see, post. Oh, they make a post request to it. Shoot. I was right. Let's do this. Token. HTTP post. Get token. Technically, we can take in a client secret here too. We'll handle that later, because this is where we'll handle the refresh token. Also have like optional string refresh token, like all that stuff that might come up. Shoot, and we need to return okay, and a new anonymous object. We'll have access token is response.access token, and access token express expiration is response.expiration, and refresh token is response.refresh token. Okay. So now we have a post endpoint that's taking like the same stuff. Let's see if we can publish this. I thought it would do a final get request, but I guess not. Did it publish? Did I do it? So we need to go back and change our URL as well. So while that's publishing, come over here. This is gonna, oops, took me away. This is gonna be /token, and we need to re-grab the secret again because they just get rid of it every time. And now we can do credentials in request body. All right, let's try that. All right, I'm gonna try to link again now. Settings, and then should have link account. Should take me to my endpoint. All right, let's try this. Signing in. 8 U. Sign in. Redirecting. Yes, your Suave Keys account has been successfully linked. Close this window. Okay, so we have a linked account. Problem is the refresh token is not going to work, but whatever. Awesome. Okay. So what I want to do, can I check what the request is going to be like in here? If I go to test, hopefully it's still linked because I'm on the same account. Say open Suave Keys and say press spacebar. I should have an access token in here now. Let's see. So if we look at the JSON input, access token, this does look like one of my access tokens. Okay, if we take this, oh my god, I hate this JSON editor. Is that the one that we, is that the, which access token is this? Is this my Suave Keys access token, or is this my Amazon access token? They're the same. Oh, these are different ones. Okay, so this I think is the Amazon one, and this is my Suave Keys one. So let's see. If I go to Swagger, right, and if I hit my test endpoint alone, nothing, not going to work. Can I take that? Oh, I don't need to put the bear because it's there. If I just authorize with that and execute, 200. We actually have account linking. Oh my gosh. Let's do this. Oh, thank goodness. So in our endpoint for what we're handling from like the pressed in our Voicify controller, like if we have this press key, whatever, this request, we still have original request, and then we have native request in here as well. I don't think we get an abstraction over the access token from Voicify, if I remember right. But I mean, either way, we're signed in now, so we can actually use this to like do a lookup. But we need to figure out how to actually get the token out from either Alexa or Google, depending on what it is, and then we need to do a lookup against the database based off of like pulling out their claims. So how do I reverse that? One, we need to have a native request in here. So if we have like public object native request, this is the one we're gonna get. I don't think Voicify sends. Actually, let's just check. So if we'll set up a webhook.site. I'm gonna copy this over in Voicify on the press integration. I'm gonna change the URL out. Oh, we already have Suave Keys test. Hold on, let me edit this. Let's add a new conversation item to put it on. So we'll call this like auth test. We'll just say test. This is your test response. And we'll keep the session open. So if I save this, and then we'll go add that webhook. So we've got auth test, integrations, test, Suave Keys test, update. So now if I say, Alexa, open Suave Keys. Alexa.
In order to let you use your Suave Keys controller, you'll need to sign in.
Alexa, open Suave Keys. I've got the wake word on my phone now.
In order to let you use
Alexa,
your Suave Keys controller.
What is a test?
This is your test response.
Exit. Okay, so here's the data that is going to be sent to our endpoint. In the original request, I don't think we're abstracting the access token. So we need to go into the native request and then dig in and grab it, which will be down in the user access token. This one. Oh, wait, no, it is. It is actually at the top level, right? Locale. Oh, is it? It might just be in original request. Here, let's try this. If I just put, we'll leave that because we might need it, but if I have prop string access token, and then in my Voicify controller, I'm going to say pressing key as, and I'll say request.original request.access token. Let's just see if we get the access token up. So I can publish this real quick, and then it should be able to read it in the response, but it might throw an error. So I'm going to try to do it from the test console. So hopefully my session's not ended here, but if I say press spacebar, so it should say pressing spacebar as, and then like all of those characters. Oh, perfect. Okay, so there's our access token, literally pulled out. Like that's from our code. So now we need to deserialize this, which, like I said earlier, is I don't know how to do, because usually it's just sort of handled for me. But let's take a look at what we're doing here. So when we add bearer auth, we set this up, we add that, and we have our signing key. And then I'm going to close everything but these. So close all but this. And then I want my user authentication service. So like down here in this generate token is what we basically need to reverse. So we've got write token. So let's see if there's some stuff in here we could have. So if we've got like if our token handler is new JWT security token handler dot, do we have like a read token, read JWT token versus write JWT token? Let's see, read token, and let's say like we grab this, right? Can we get the claims token? Say this is just gonna be temp token. I'm just playing around with the IntelliSense at this point to see what I can actually get out of it. Temp token dot claims. Do we've got issuer signing key. Let's do this. C# decode JWT token. Read JWT. Now do something with token. Oh, is that how we have to do it? Is it actually read JWT? Then we can get claims. Okay, so let's try this. If I go to, so we're putting in, we have the email claim. Let's see, if I go to the Voicify controller, right, and let's say var token equals this. We want to read this access token. We can say var email is token claims dot first or default, where the claim type, is that the one? Claim type equals claim type, claim types dot email as email, and I'll say unknown otherwise. Unknown. Oh, you can't do null. Oh wait, we need email, and then we can say value. All right, cool. Let's publish this. Oops, not pack. No, don't pack it. Stop. Do not make a NuGet package out of this. Publish. Once it's done publishing, hopefully we can keep using the same session. We'll keep this press spacebar. Did it finish? Looks like it did. Let's see. It should tell me my email. Nope, it's still old. It didn't actually publish. My machine is taking off. There we go. Okay. Press spacebar. Should give me my email back. Look at that. Perfect. Now we can actually start like pulling their IDs out and actually doing things with it. Oh my gosh. That means like once we have our SignalR hub context set up, all we have to do is say like .users and pass in the ID for the user that we just pull off the claim, just like we did there. And then they're off and running. So excited we finally got this working. All of this like just messiness with Alexa and OAuth, and it's all set up. So I'm going to commit this working sample pulling users access token. So let's go try to do the same thing for Google. You'll notice when we added the integration, it added this extra like Google sign-in response, which has this like input.signin, so we'll probably need to actually add that. Thank you. We can change that content later. But if we go to console.dialogflow, we've got Suave Keys, and then I want to go to the integration setting here. I haven't done account linking on Google since like I was first tinkering with it, so we'll see. Alright, if we go to develop, account linking, convenient. Yes, let them sign in. What? Do you want to allow users to, oh, what? There's like a switch here. To sign up for new accounts via voice. Select this option with team service to obtain user consent during sign up. That's fine. Yeah, you'll be able to sign up. We have to actually build that into the UI. Linking type, OAuth and Google sign-in. Grant type, auth code. Okay, let's go make a new client ID. I literally just closed the GUID generator. So we're gonna have a new auth client. Save. I'm gonna do the 2 again. And do the same sort of like random-ish secret generator. Hardly secret. Oh, whoops. Oh my gosh. I accidentally closed the wrong tab. Okay, auth clients. New one. There's your secret. Generate another GUID. Take that. Take that. We'll say Suave Keys Google Action. Also made on 2020 07 19. Save. Alright, let's get all these copied and put in here. Client ID issued by Google to your actions. I don't particularly care about that because we're not going to need their Google account information. We just need them to get their Suave Keys information. Authorization URL. I'm going to just take this right from here. Make sure I get the same values. Account linking. Authorization URL. And then token URL. Next. Scopes we don't need. Learn more URL. It feels unnecessary. Google to transmit client ID and secret via HTTP basic auth header. No. Testing instructions. Oh, we'll have to make an account for them. We can say I don't know, do we have to do that right now? Temp. How about that? Save. Okay. Account linking information saved. We do need to add that new intent. So the action is going to need to match this input.sign in, and it's going to need to come from an event. Google Assistant sign in, that's probably it. Is there another one? Intent link, get joke. So dumb. Okay, I think that's right. And then we want to enable webhooks on it, so it actually goes to our thing. Save. Oh, sign in intent. I have a working sample one of these, but I think that's all I needed. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. If I go to test, say talk to Suave Keys, hopefully I'll get the prompt to sign in. In order to let you use your Suave Keys controller, you need to sign in. You'll need an account with Suave Keys. To get you signed in, I'll just need some info. If you want some more details, say tell me more. So, can I ask Google for your name, email address, profile, and picture? Yes. Thank you. So does it... I don't know if like... I know the simulator is weird. If I go to my home app... Do I have like a card in here or anything to sign in? Go to Google Assistant. No, don't.
Playing some music on Spotify.
No, don't do that. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's try this. Talk to Suave Keys.
Here's the test version of Suave Keys.
To continue, link your keys. Yeah. Use another Suave Keys account. Alright, I'm getting taken to Suave Keys, and we errored. Okay, opening Chrome so I can copy this stupid URL. Did we not like actually save this? Oh, we never saved this. I need Google's URLs. That's why. Close though. Okay. What are the URL? What is their redirect URL? I mean, I guess I can go literally check this. Alright, hold on. I'm going to send this to myself on Slack again. That way I can just see what their stupid URLs are. Alright, let's see. HTTPS OAuth redirect.com or .google user content. Oh my gosh, like why can't they just give me these? Alright, let's do this. Actions on Google account linking. I literally just need their URLs. And they don't, unless I'm missing something. Like, can I, where is the info? This is just so dumb. Okay. Streamlined linking I don't care for. That would only work if we had like sign in with Google enabled. Come on. Just give me your URLs. Yes, we know how OAuth works. We've done this so many times now. Implicit flow. Gross. Alright, this is our flow. Where are the URLs? Implementation guide? Auth code, please. Implement your server. Yes, I know. This is so not helpful. Okay, there we go. Gosh. Okay. So we need that. Alright, let's try it now. I'm gonna do it from here again, not in the simulator. No, cancel. Fuck.
According to Wikipedia,
Talk to Suave Keys. Should get a nice little prompt that says you gotta sign in. Or it's just gonna spin for a while. Come on, Google. Restart it. Talk to Suave Keys.
These came back from a search.
What? Shave keys? What are you doing? Talk to Suave Keys. Benny's. Google is just like freaking out right now. Yes. Yeah, this is stupid. I need to do it in the actual thing. Ask Alexa a question. What gives you the right? Alexa, what gives you the right?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
So pompous. Okay. My Google Assistant app is just freaking out. Let's try this from scratch. Talk to Suave Keys.
Here are some results.
Exit.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Talk to Suave Keys.
Let's get the test
There we
version
go.
of Suave Keys.
It's interesting. So basically, it pops up. Let me actually camera this. It pops up like a little dialogue there. And it's like, oh, you can use your Google account or you can use this one. I wonder if we're going to have issues because we don't allow OAuth with Google. Alright, now I'm taking into my sign-in screen, which is good. We weren't getting there before. Alright, let me try to sign in. Signing in. redirecting.
Great, your Suave Keys account is now linked to Google.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Alright, we are linked. So now if I say, tell Suave Keys to press spacebar.
Let's get the test version of Suave Keys. Pressing spacebar is alexander.dunn
Let's
at
go.
outlook.com. What else?
Exit. Look at that. We have account linking and signing in on Alexa and Google. And we're able to just take those tokens and do things with them now. We are gonna need to check like expirations. Let's see. Let's make a little notes section here. Things that we still need to do. So one, we need to refactor auth flows to use results. Use error redirects instead of 500s. We need to yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm still just showing my face. There we go. Here's our list. Okay, we need to use errors there. We need to check against expirations of tokens. We need to update token endpoint to use refresh tokens. We have that already built. We just need to actually like flip it to use this endpoint instead of the old one, and we'll basically just get rid of the old one at that point. We need to build a UI for creating accounts. We need to build a better looking UI. We need to show the user the app that is account linking. It's like it should say like the Suave Keys Alexa skill wants to sign in to do these things. And that's the gist of it. So I'm probably going to end this here, and then on Wednesday we'll do this refactoring just to keep it going, and then Sunday we'll start building our apps and our everything else, right? We'll build our actual UWP app to also sign in to then get requests sent down of like what you're trying to hit space for, and then we can start to do all the fun configuration stuff. So hopefully, you know, by the end of next week we'll have a very clean UI for signing in and stuff. We'll have the entire like account linking flow working end to end with the ability to sign up. We'll have a UWP app that we can sign in to as well that will then like handle sending the requests back and forth. And then we'll be able to start taking preferences and like building your macros and all that fun stuff. So lot more fun things coming next week, I think, instead of all of this pretty boring OAuth stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. I'll commit all this stuff, so if you're following along on GitHub, check it out. I'm gonna save this list for me to do, so we'll say skey to do. And yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks Jack Hearts for the sub and Kenzie for the gifted sub. And I'll see you all Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you later.